WWE built a mystery for weeks. Weeks of Randy Orton on a phone in the shadows. Weeks of the IWC speculating, is it The Rock? Is it Kevin Owens? Is it Shane McMahon? Bob Orton Sr.?
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
And the answer was Pat McAfee.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
A man who told you 26 days ago that wrestling had passed him by. Let's talk about that. Welcome to the Tea Drop. Strong brew, no soft behavior. We are talking about what happened and why this is probably one of the bigger than bad creative moves done by WWE so far. And ironically, this wasn't done by Road Dogg. But anyway, let's get to it. Let me set the scene. April 3rd, SmackDown. Randy Orton is in his hometown of St. Louis, listening to the voices in his head. The building is hot. Fans are cheering the heel because they love the Viper. Cody Rhodes comes out. They brawl. And then somehow this run-in by a punt. Cody Rhodes in the balls by who other than Pat McAfee.
What?
Wearing an RKO Everybody shirt from St. Louis. And he's also wearing sunglasses inside just to look cool. Only The Rock can pull that off. Anyway, now, I want you to really understand what the expectation was in that building. Because cage-side seats laid out exactly what the IWC was speculating. They speculated The Rock. They speculated Owens, Shane McMahon, Bob Orton Sr. The man's own father would have made more narrative sense. Instead, we got a former NFL punter, an ESPN morning show host, and this becomes not a big reveal. It's just them having to redirect why this happened. Now, here's where I need you to stop and really sit in with this, because this isn't just about bad creative. This is about receipts. March 8th, Pat McAfee himself does an Instagram Q&A. A fan asked about WWE's return, about his return in WWE. And Pat McAfee says the following.
Will I be returning to the WWE in the future? I don't think you ever say never, especially with WWE. But right now, it does not feel like it is something, it's supposed to happen. It doesn't feels like that business. It's kind of passed me by a little bit. Grew up loving it. Dreamed to work in it. Feel honored that I had the opportunity to work alongside the GOAT, Michael Cole. But I feel like the business is in a good spot without me. I'll continue to watch.
It feels like the business has kind of passed me by a little bit. It feels like the biz in a good spot without me. I'll continue to watch. That was March 8th. His return was April 3rd, 26 days later. The man looked into a camera and told you the wrestling business had moved on without him. And 26 days later, he's the central figure in the WrestleMania main event storyline. Now, I know he's said never say never, but it sounded like he was pretty much done. At least for a longer period of time, not 26 days. Now tell me where that makes sense. Either Pat McAfee was lying to his audience in March, or somebody called him with a number big enough to change his mind fast. This brings me to the next part of the story that the mainstream wrestling press is barely talking about, and that's his good buddy, Emanuel. Now here's some facts because these are important. Emanuel is the CEO and executive chairman of TKO Holdings. TKO is the company that owns WWE. So Emanuel is functionally WWE's boss. Emanuel is also Pat McAfee's personal entertainment agent. He is currently working to launch McAfee's as a Hollywood movie star. Reports say the goal is to make him the next Sylvester Stallone. Yeah, apparently he thinks McAfee can be the next Sylvester Stallone. That guy. This guy thinks he can be Sylvester Stallone. Rocky, Rambo, the guy from the Expendables. According to Dave Meltzer, grain of salt kind of situation. Anyway, it was Emanuel apparently said by Dave Meltzer that Emanuel personally is the one who made the call to bring McAfee back to WrestleMania. So let me break that down for you. Simply, WWE's boss used WWE's biggest annual platform to advance his personal client's entertainment career. Is it? Or is it not a creative decision? Do you think it's a conflict of interest? Now, according to PW Torch, Sean Radican, citing Fightful Select Sean Ross Sapp, like everyone's sourcing someone, there were people inside WWE who were not happy with this. The internal reaction was described as mixed. Some people thought the negative fan reaction was heat. Others said, and this is important, it was not the kind of heat WWE should be looking for. When your own locker room is split on whether a booking decision is good or embarrassing, you have a problem. You have a problem. So now McAfee is in the ring. He's cut a promo. Let's talk about what he actually said, because this is wild. McAfee gets on the microphone at a WWE show on WWE television to sell a WWE WrestleMania match and says that the current state of the business sucks, even though he said the business doesn't need him anymore on his Instagram. He says that SmackDown just had its lowest rated episode ever until that night. That WrestleMania's ticket sales are lagging. That undersized wrestlers flipping around is killing the product. He's talking about WWE's product failing on WWE's product. The Sportster put it perfectly, and I'm going to quote them directly. It's a wrestling show. Wrestlers, fans tune in. All you have to do is show a passion for the product, and we'll be happy. Instead, though, WWE brought in an outsider to stand on their platform and confirm every single criticism fans have been making for a year now. And they scripted it that way. Think about that. WWE's creative team sat in a room and said the best way to hype our biggest show is to have someone come out and tell the audience how bad our show is. This is WWE in its most desperate moment yet before WrestleMania. Now, here's the part that really tells you everything you need to know about how this landed internally. After McAfee's segment, Cody Rhodes came back out.
And color me surprised, it was Pat McAfee.
Here's what PW Insider confirmed, and PW backed up. Cody's promo was not on the planned rundown for the show. He went out there on his own, or at the very least, improvised, because what just happened needed to be addressed. And what did Cody say? He called McAfee, and I want to make sure I get this right.
Pat, you stoner, grifter, Logan Paul without muscles, human hat rack, fly by night.
He compared him to Disco Inferno.
That's like if Scott Hall and Kevin Nash talked about the third man in the NWO, and instead of Hulk Hogan, it was Disco Inferno.
And then, this is the line that IWC has been breaking down since Friday. Cody said, him and everyone who represents him, and I know who I'm talking to, can kiss my ass. What are you going to do to me? Fire me? It sure worked out last time. That's not Cody talking to Pat McAfee. That's Cody Rhodes talking directly to anyone higher up associated with him, most likely Emanuel. The man who is McAfee's agent, the man who owns WWE. PW Torch report says that the backstage belief was that parts of that promo reflected Cody's real thoughts about TKO inserting McAfee into the storyline. Your champion just went on live television and told the owner of the company to kiss his ass. That's a work shoot. And it only happened because the reveal was so bad that the babyface champion had to come out and publicly acknowledge it. Now, why it falls apart at WrestleMania? Here's the bottom line on why Pat McAfee's story doesn't work going into WrestleMania. First, he has no existing connection to Randy Orton. Absolutely none. They've never interacted on television. You can't just insert someone into a 20-year rivalry between Cody and Orton and expect the audience to invest. Second, McAfee gave himself a built-in exit. He publicly stated if Orton loses at WrestleMania, he's never coming back to wrestling television. Third, it makes Orton look weak. The most dangerous man in WWE right now, the legend killer, the Viper, needed a former NFL punter and ESPN morning show host to motivate him? What? How is this elevation for him towards number 15? In comparison to John Cena getting help from The Rock to get him to number 17 last year. How is this equivalent? It's not. It diminishes his Orton. Fourth, the Sportster made a point that I agree with completely. Cody versus Orton writes itself, and I've said that plenty of times before. 20 years of history, a beloved champion versus a Viper who wants one more title before the curtain closes on him. You don't need a celebrity. You need to trust your talent and trust your damn audience. And fifth, the audience already told you how they feel. They called it embarrassing on social media. Immediately. Before the show was even over, When fans are rejecting your reveal in real time, you don't have weeks to fix it before the biggest show of the year. So here's where I land on this. And I want your take in the comments because I genuinely want to know what you're thinking. This isn't just about whether Pat McAfee is entertaining. He can be. He was legitimately a bright spot on commentary at times. The issue is context. You don't insert a celebrity into your most important storyline of the year 3 weeks out because your boss is his agent. You don't confirm your own product is failing on your own damn platform. And you don't make your champion have to clean up your damn mess with an off-script promo. This is what TKO booking looks like when it's driven by corporate synergy instead of wrestling storytelling. And the fans saw it coming in real time. So let me know in the comments, do you think Cody's promo was a real shoot? And who should have been Orton's mystery caller? Because that fantasy booking conversation is one I genuinely want to have now. Drop it in the comments. Thank you for watching. If the T hit right, hit the like button and subscribe. See you in the next one.